All right. Good morning, afternoon, evening, night, depending on where you find yourself in the globe. We thank you for joining us. This is Kingdom Economic Forum in partnership with the New African Concept. Like we always tell you, this platform has been set up to identify the challenges in our environment and come up with a solution. We always want to give you what others are not doing. This is a platform where we ask relevant questions that will help us to solve a problem. We believe that in solving problems, we need to go to the root cause, not the fruit cause. Unfortunately, many problems have been solved from the fruit cause, and that is why the problems keeps on emerging. But we want to go to the root cause, and knowing that will help build our society. Over the last 3-4 weeks, we've been talking about the fact that what is gets measured is get managed, and what is get managed is get done. And the issue has been globally, a tool that we have been using to measure progress has been gross domestic product. And we've told you about the history, we've told you about the pitfalls, and we've told you about why we need a new system. Last week, we concluded on that by telling you the reason we need to look at the GDP. We've told you in passing that we are not against GDP, but we are saying that GDP can do far better than what it is doing. Because when you use the wrong measuring rod, you, irrespective of giving good answers, you will be marked wrong. If the good thing you are doing is not captured in the measuring rod, it will be treated as a non-entity. And that is what has put pressure on so many of us. We told you that economists have said that if you're able to capture certain things that GDP is not measuring, most of these countries, especially in Africa, will have a growth rate skyrocketing because there are so many things that have not been captured in our market, in our environment, that GDP is measuring. Today, all this long talking, the question is there any precedence anywhere? Is there any country trying to expand on things that they measure? Stay tuned. We're going to blow your mind that all that we are talking about has been started some years back. It might not be so perfect, but they have started. It might not be so fast, but they have started. The good thing is that you need to start. Until you start, you cannot move. So the starting is the major work that has to be done. So with me in studio, as always, is Dr. Joshua Ponsafo. Doc,
hello.
I hope the June preparation is ongoing.
Very much.
We are trusting God. That parents, please, as we give you update, your children who are writing their BC and then WASI, allow them to be part of this impactful program. And I think the other mentorship program, maybe add them so that others can do.
Definitely, yeah. So we also have the mentorship program called the Lead Well Scholars. The Lead Well Scholars, and we are running beautifully so far. It is available for the basic school level, also for the senior high level, and then the tertiary level, and then even post-tertiary, maybe national service, master's, PhD, or any professional. So you can reach out to the numbers on our screen. It is a training, curriculum-based, systematic and structured mentorship that is going to transform your life for personal governance, how you can govern and lead yourself, and then also how you can also be a change maker or a change agent wherever you find yourself.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So today, look, all that we are talking about, is it being done? What are there are some indicators other countries are looking at. We will be looking at, we mentioned some of the areas they are looking at, and then mention countries that are trying to do something.
Yes.
And then maybe next week, we will do specific indices. Is that right word?
Yes.
Or indicators.
Indicators.
That as a country, Ghana, we want to propose for our policymakers so that we bring all that we have said to right perspective. We need to present a paper to our political and those in authority so that we generate the discussion around it. But before then, today we want you to let you know that it is being done. There's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. There's not absolutely. In fact, the one who brought first indicators is the manufacturer. It's in the Bible, those who go to church. The Bible is the main indicator for societal well-being and progress. But then we have teased out some of them. Other countries have teased out some of them, trying to implement. So that's what we want to do. But first thing is that the domain selection. What are the key areas that these countries have looked at, and then we move on to?
Yes. So maybe we can take example each, and then maybe the domains that they also explored.
That's a point.
So just like Nana is rightly saying, there is nothing new under the sun, and we have already explored the limitation or the challenges with the usual metric of assessment currently, which is the GDP. And as we reiterated on this platform, it is not to denigrate it, but rather to expose its limitation and the need for, and I think that was what we did last week. We looked at why the urgent need, not just the need, but the urgent need for some of these alternatives. And gracefully, we are not the first people seeing these things. In fact, America themselves, out of which GDP, as we gave the history, was what they tasked Simon and then his team to do. They themselves, over the years, have seen the limitation of it. And there are some states or places over there that have started looking at certain alternatives, which we'll be looking at examples.
Good.
But I think historically, the first person who more or less gave a bit of a pushback against the natural GDP was Bhutan's king, the fourth king, who made a categorical statement that he believes that there can be something better than just the measurement of GDP.
Sure.
Yeah, so that was around the 1970s, 72, thereabout. But it became a guiding principle or a philosophy for his kingdom. His kingdom. And so by around the 2000s, they saw the need to translate it from just an operational philosophy to develop some specific indicators where they will use it to measure. So they employed both local and international, should I say, consultants, and they were able to convert that philosophy into specific framework. And ultimately what they had was that they had 9 specific domains and 33 indicators. Sure. So you can see that it's very laborious. 33 indicators over or across 9 domains. And we may look at some of the domains that they tagged on. So basically, from that time, they have used it as a metric to assess. So what they called it was the gross national happiness.
Framework,
gross national happiness. A shift from the gross domestic product, and then they called it the gross national happiness. Yeah, so, and from that time, others have also come on board, which I'm sure we will touch on along the line. So the gross national happiness, as the name suggests, then explores not only the economic outputs of the people, but as to how happy and peaceful the citizens within the Bhutan space or the kingdom, how are they really faring? So there were a number of places that they were exploring to touch on, or some of it. So maybe we can touch on some of the number of domains. The domains. Yes, some of the domains.
Okay, then they look at the domain health. Okay, let me start with the health. Yeah, health was the first domain. That's a physical and mental health, access to health care. So those were the domains they look at. Health is the first domain, and what it captures, the physical and mental health and access to care.
Yes.
This is what they measured.
Then also they had education.
Education. They look at the educational attainment and lifelong learning.
Yes. So you could see that here because next week we'll be looking at a proposal or what we intend to propose for our context.
Sure.
And you'll see that education. So here it is not even just about the parameter, but what you are measuring is very important.
Sure.
So when you come to education and then you are just measuring acquisition of certificates,
you are dead.
then it is a wrong measurement and hence it will lead to a wrong management.
Sure.
And then something wrong will be done, as we have given in our preamble.
Sure.
So they were measuring the educational attainment itself, and lifelong learning, which is very powerful. We've said several times that there's a difference between schooling and education. Certification is a product of schooling. Education is a commitment to lifelong learning, to solve the problems of the society.
That's it.
So things like to meet a master's student and then saying that, oh, reading or learning is not my thing. In our system, you can meet even a PhD student or a holder. So,
I don't like
from
reading.
Kindergarten to reading and learning is not my thing. But here, they are measuring lifelong learning. Very powerful. Very powerful. So that is also part of their assessments.
They also have economic security. That is income, employment, debt, housing. Those are the areas that they capture. Income,
Great.
employment, debt, and housing are the areas that they look at.
It goes beyond the GDP's just mere economic transaction of goods and services or production and consumption. Here, beyond it is looking at the income, is looking at employment. And maybe in ours, we can open it up because we have underemployment and then other details where now you may be employed, but relative to your potentials, what you are doing is too routine for this. So it does not even challenge your mind.
You are doing robotic jobs.
Robotic jobs. So these are very beautiful stuffs that, and then the debt and then housing. So it means that if many people are on the streets or if people are not properly housed, it is captured and then it is going to influence how much people...
Payment and other things.
It's going to influence payment and then many other things. Very good.
They also measure another domain is community.
Great.
Within the community, trust, belonging, social support, safety. I think this thing GDP doesn't even consider it.
At all.
Trust, belonging,
At all.
social support, safety. They measure that one.
Very good.
Another domain is the environment.
Environment.
Air and water quality, green space, climate. These areas, this is the area where our GDP as it stands now don't factor.
So so air and water quality, green space, the climate. So it means that if you contextualize this in ours, it means that the Galamsey operations
will not be part of your GDP.
Will not be part of your GDP. So it is not just the acquisition of the money or the means, but its impact.
The
So
environment.
once the impact is wrong, then it will not be factored in the GDP. Very, very. And I think for governance, they were looking trust in institutions.
Wow.
Institutional trust. And all these are elements, because I think they had 9, then they had 33 in all. That's 33 indicators spread over these 9 that we are making mention of. And the ultimate, the figure you get is based on the cumulative. Yes. So when everything is put together, maybe you have this. And then now they can say that maybe you are having, maybe that is a gross national happiness. And if you are referring, and citizens, when it comes to assessment of leadership, will consider these things. You don't just come and say that, oh,
GDP
our
growth.
GDP has shot to this,
Yeah.
and then we are just clapping.
sitting there, clap.
It shot to, or it increased this growth in GDP. It came on the account on A, B, C, and none of them was as a result of destruction of the environment. So that is the governance. Trust in institutions. Trust in institutions. And what else? Participation rights. Yes, participation. And then the right. So any GDP growth that is on the account of infringement of people's rights cannot be considered as a good
growth.
GDP.
There's no growth.
There's no growth at all. And then also participation. So it is not, because in an ecosystem like this, the active participation.
It's
so
not
we are
the
going
citizens.
to and yes. So we develop a framework that is going to measure the active participation of the average citizen.
Not only during elections.
Not during elections. That is what democracy is about. So we want to see how much the average everyday person is involved in the machinery of governance.
Some of you are there, even though your district assembly, you don't even know your assemblyman. These are things that we need to look. And then time use.
Wow.
Time use. Time is a big asset. Time is here. We don't Ghana man style GMT. We don't respect time.
GMT.
But they measure time. Work hours, leisure, rest, commuting. Time you use to commute. Here we don't measure. Somebody is staying at Kaswa. Every day you spend almost 5 hours in traffic. That is not well-being. This
Time use.
Yeah. And then the other indicator is culture. Cultural participation, identity, heritage. Some of you hometown, you don't know any history about your hometown. You don't respect what you have, your cultural thing. So because we are not part, we allow people to pollute certain good cultural things that we should have. We've sat back and people have polluted it, and that's why you are not interested in joining. But if we participate in the cultural thing, we'll be able to amend certain things that are not good. But because we don't participate, those who are participating will destroy it.
Exactly. And like George Orwell said, that if you want to destroy any people, then cut them away or off their history. So any people who don't know their roots, they are bound to repeat history's mistakes.
Wow.
And then it keeps on repeating over and over again. So here is a very good thing where we measure the extent to which people know and participate in their culture, know the history. The basic, your hometown, even Ghana here, our history, where we are coming from pre-colonial times. These are things that the average Ghanaian, picked at random, should have mastery over. And I'm praying we'll be able to, both in the English, in the local dialects. These are the things that even our media houses, it should be taking center stage. No, definitely not Kunkumbagia. Yes.
And the last one is the subjective well-being. Life satisfaction, meaning, happiness. When you talk of meaning, it's about purpose. What do you live? What's the purpose of your life? You don't know. As a Ghanaian, what's your purpose? Happiness.
The more purposeful a group of people are, definitely it will translate in corporate advancement of their society.
That's the point.
Because if you are not purposeful, then what happens is that you operate with survival mentality instead of living a life of significance.
One interesting thing is that even in their economic indicator, or economic security, they say that they measure percentage of household spending, which means that they should spend less than 30% of income on household. So if they're able to spend less than 30% of income on housing, it means that the country is doing well.
Yes.
But now part of the country, I think if you are not careful, you spend all your money on your housing.
Rent and all that.
You spend all your money. Anyway, so this is how the Bhutan's gross national happiness
national happiness
was measured So, look, there's another, when you go to Canada, they have what we call well-being index experiments worldwide. Let's look at Canada. Canadian Index of Well-being. Canadian Index of Well-being. And what it is a comprehensive well-being index developed by researchers at the University of Waterloo with 8 domains.
8 domains.
Community vitality, democratic engagement, education, environment, healthy population, leisure and culture, living standards, and time use. So they at least capture some of the things
Bhutans,
were using.
We're also exploring.
And they started this since 1994. And what they do is that they compare this well-being to GDP growth. Wow. And they produce regular reports with policy recommendations.
And I think that these frameworks and indicators really play serious role when it comes to policy formulation.
That's the point. Than the GDP.
Yes, because
the
GDP is mightily scanty when it comes to it does not give you the picture of really what is going on. So it is when these additional points come to bear, and then it really helps in shaping, and definitely if it is running, and we have a credible center or an institution their work is to run these researches and data and assessments, and then they publish reports, just like we do with the Auditor General's report. And then so we also we give it a name. And then like Canadian well-being report, some nice name. And then they publish reports, quarterly, maybe annual reports, and then it helps every government that is running. That report is a vital report that you fall on to make comprehensive. So you are looking at maybe education. If you want to roll out education policies, you don't just look at just about the maybe free SHS in terms of just the intake of the students alone. Those ones are good, but they are very limited, very minimal.
The basic.
You are looking at, are they really getting the understanding of the true essence of education?
They are not.
And how are we measuring their mindset,
critical thinking,
their ethical thinking, critical thinking? So these are very beautiful. I can't wait for what we will be doing for Ghana by way of our proposal. So then I could continue.
And interesting, the findings from the Canadian one, they said that while GDP grew steadily, well-being improved modestly, then plateaued. Gains in living standards were offset by losses in time use and community vitality.
Good.
So they were able to know where the problem is. Good. And like you said, the policy can come in to help. Another, in US, like you rightly mentioned, Maryland, they do what we call Genuine Progress Indicator, GPI. Genuine Progress Indicator.
So now we have the gross national happiness. We have the Canadian Index of Well-being. And then we have the Genuine Progress Indicator. The name alone, I mean, means that there's a limitation with the GP.
That's
but this one is genuine
Progress Indicator.
Okay.
What it is, a state level indicator that adjusts GDP for factors GDP ignores. Like we have all said, they've done it. Add value of unpaid work, subtract cost of time, cost of crime, pollution, inequality, accounts for depletion of natural capital.
Good.
This is what you do.
So it's the cost implication or the financial implication that comes from the activities. Incentives, they are not added. So that one gives you, no wonder they are calling it genuine. That one gives you the genuine economic state of that state or society. Because, so in this case, you don't just do anything. So in this case, any money or any contributing elements from Galamsey will not be added to our GDP.
Good.
Yes.
And the interesting, their findings, very interesting. The GPI grew more slowly than GDP. And even declined in some years when GDP grew, suggesting that economic growth was coming at the expense of well-being.
Exactly.
Wow.
This is exactly what we've been saying from the beginning.
Wow.
And these are testaments. And these are things that, and mind you, it is the US that started the idea of the GDP through the consultant, as we've already given. So they themselves have assessed, and then they've seen, but this one is a state, that's Maryland. And then they assessed, and then they found out that even in times where the GDP of their state grew, the GPI, which is the genuine progress indicator, was coming down. And the conclusion is that it is possible to have an ecosystem where there is an increase in GDP or economic state, but at the same time, it is happening at the expense
of the well-being
of the people.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what is happening. Our environment is being destroyed. There is pollution around. Our social fabrics, the moral fiber of our nation is being destroyed. But these things are not on the table for conversation.
Wow.
And it is mostly GDP, macroeconomics, GDP, macroeconomics.
Another group is the OECD Better Life Index. This one for the Europeans. What did they do? An interactive index allowing users to compare well-being across OECD countries based on 11 dimensions. They are looking at 11 dimensions. Housing, income, jobs, community, education, environment, civic engagement, health, life satisfaction, safety, work-life balance. And the impact has shifted international conversation towards well-being and influenced national statistic agencies. In fact, that's why when we're doing the census statistic, they pick some of these things from there. But unfortunately, our statistic data is gathering that it's not leading in a way in our policy making very well. I think we need to look at it.
Shifted the conversation toward well-being.
Well-being.
So it is not just about the money or just about the economic growth, but rather also it is inclusive of the well-being, which is very, very important.
Sure.
Very, very important. So at the end of the day, and all these are people who started with this and they have realized the limitation. So it means that even as Ghana or Africa, we should also add our voice and then contextualize ours.
That's the point.
And we see that no, we cannot measure, especially a developing country. These even developed countries, they are raising concerns. So developed countries are raising concerns about GDP.
GDP. Another is UK, Office for National Statistics. Well-being program. Since 2010, the UK has measured personal well-being through 4 questions. Life satisfaction, worthwhile, that's sense of purpose, happiness yesterday, anxiety yesterday. The impact, normalized well-being measurement in official statistics, influence policy in areas like mental health and loneliness. Loneliness. And within the same UK, they have what Works Center for Wellbeing. What Works Center for Wellbeing UK, a government-funded center that synthesizes evidence on what improves well-being and advises policymakers.
So it adds to the impact being the influencing policy on the culture, the loneliness and
community development.
Yeah, so you could see that one very critical contribution of some of these new metrics is the role it plays in policy formulation.
That's a point.
Because in most cases, or ideally, policies must be data-based. It must be research-based or research-driven.
Yeah.
And these things gives you the actual picture of the people and then their state not just about the money. It gives you the actual picture, and then you can formulate very critical and crucial policies in family life, in education, in various aspects of the society.
That's okay.
So all these are augmenting the fact that the European countries are looking at that aspect. Canada, we've seen it. America, we've seen it. And then Bhutan, we've seen it. All these are efforts by people who are saying that, look, the GDP is good, but it is limited.
It's limited.
And it is about time. Some of them started quite early, and these are the results. They are giving us the feedback that when they introduce this, they are beginning to realize that it is possible to have a spiked GDP, but at the expense of the well-being of the people and even the environment as well.
Wonderful. So the lesson from the global experiences, as you've mentioned, is the policy influence.
Okay, good.
Policy influence is possible but slow.
Yes.
And the well-being measurement is spreading. Now countries are looking at well-being. Methods are improving. Early crude measures are being refined into sophisticated indices. And that's what we're going to do for Ghana. Come next week, we will discuss that one. And then local matters. National indices are useful, but local indices can drive community action. And then the politics matters. Well-being measurement is not neutral. It challenges powerful interests. Political commitment is essential. So we want, whatever we're going to bring out, we need the political commitment. If we do that and we educate the public, trust you, Ghana doesn't need so much to develop. We have, unfortunately, being measured from wrong tool. If you get a right tool and realize, oh, we are not doing bad at all, if you capture all some of these things, we then begin to manage them well.
Yes.
And begin to do them properly. Yes. And then Ghana will be a better place, and for that matter, Africa.
And it is even it is a framework that will develop a mindset across all levels.
That's the point.
So that now when we come to, so that framework is to develop a mindset which will be now practical across every institution. So just like we are doing at the national level, now when you come to church, we ask those questions.
That's the point.
That, okay, what is the measurement that the church is growing? Just like countries have been doing with GDP.
That's a point.
Now, churches, mostly we look at the crusades we've had, the numbers, that is our members, the size of the auditorium, the offering. So the indicators, even at the religious level, that are used. So these things that we are saying, it plays out when you come into the country itself at every level. How do we measure religious advancement or the church advancement? The usual one is the size of the auditorium, the money coming, the souls won,
member attendance.
Then just like we are trying to say that the GDP is not enough, it is the same communication that these indicators are not enough. Can we now develop certain things which will measure the well-being of the
church?
How do we measure that the individuals are growing in their spiritual life, in their family life, in these extra metrics? The same applies across education. So as we are trying to mop up these things, we should not only be looking at the national level. It beats to every institution. What do we use to measure education? We measure number of people who pass BC, number of people who passed WASI, number of students who were able to go to tertiary school. These are the normal indicators. What else can we do to really go beyond these? Look at chiefs. So even at the various societies. So how does the subjects or the citizens, how do they measure a thriving chief? Is it the size of the palace? Is it the pomp and pageantry associated with the particular chief in question? By so doing, we are going to raise an enlightened citizens that now if you are a chief and then you have a state-of-the-art palace, but the people
are impoverished.
You see that these metrics of assessment will the people within, so that no, he is not doing well. So let me see that no, some years ago, that will be the metric of assessment.
But now,
in this new metric, we want to see, say, Nana, how have you, through your influence and then all those elements, how have you been able to engineer a transformation in your so that you have a massive transformation, you have a simple palace, you'll be clad for. You have a sophisticated palace, the people are impoverished. There is a problem somewhere.
In fact, we are not even living at that level, at the individual level.
The personal level.
Personal level. At the personal level, you also have to have metrics. Hey, this is very interesting.
Very, very
we see a new tomorrow.
We see a new tomorrow.
And just want to thank you. Next week, we will bring a summary for what we want, the metrics we want to assess Ghana. And then maybe we'll go further, like what we have mentioned for the institution, for the church, and the individual. We'll give highlights on all those things, and then we on and on we go. This has been Kingdom Economic Forum. Still wait for us for the Kingdom-driven 50 books series that we want to release. It's coming. Stay tuned for us. And until we meet again, thank you for watching. Bye-bye from here.